A police officer in Whitehall, Arkansas is facing disciplinary actions after a photo surfaced of him dressed as a clown. Now, the Whitehall Police Department officer is named Dustin. He's 28 years old, and this photo he posed for on September 20th. And this actually comes after there was an incident where the department received phone calls about a clown sighting, which have been reported in multiple states. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of context, clowns have been sighted all over the United States, and thus far they've just been creepy and there haven't been any murders, except actually there was a teen that was stabbed to death in Pennsylvania, assaulted by a man in a clown mask. So this is getting honestly scary. If this is a joke, it's stupid. A spokesperson for the Whitehall Police Department says, quote, "No evidence was found linking the officer to the recent reported clown sighting in the Whitehall Pine Bluff area. The officer used poor judgment in the matter and has subsequently been disciplined." So he's actually suspended right now. Do you guys think that the crime fits the punishment? What do we think here? It is bad judgment. Let's agree on that. But do you think that he should be suspended?
Is it bad judgment because of all the clown issues going on that he's...
So there were clown sightings and then he posed for this photo. And people are freaked out because of all the creepy clown sightings that we've talked about on the show before. And yeah, it's a dumb joke or whatever sort of clown conspiracy going on before Halloween. But Cenk, you're smiling. I think that you don't agree with this.
It also says at a family gathering. So like, if let's say you invited me over for my birthday party and I said, Cenk dressed as a clown, and you post on social media at my family gathering, that's a fun, happy, positive, personal thing on my personal social media. I think it's kind of weird. You know, I know that some entities and some companies, like a company I work for has morality clauses. You can't do certain things online, social media, but I for sure think this is way over the top as far as the punishment goes.
Okay.
Well, look, let's be clear. It is immoral to dress as a clown. And it is just on its face bad judgment if you go around looking like a clown.
In everyday life, literally. Yes.
Okay, now, should he be punished for this? No. I vote no. So, and I'll tell you why. Look, to Jason's point, he didn't go to the police station dressed as a clown. That would have been a bit of an issue for different reasons. And a lot of these guys who I think are real-life trolls are lurking on the edge of the woods trying to entice kids to come into the woods. Now, if he did that as a cop, no, gone. Okay, then I'm 100% with you. But as Jason pointed out, he's at a family gathering having nothing to do with policing, and he dressed up as, maybe he's a clown. Like, I literally don't know. Maybe he's like Cam from Modern Family.
Yeah,
and he's like Bozo the Clown, or he gets off on that Howdy Doody thing and he thinks it's hilarious. Like, Doody, that's so funny. Okay.
You don't think that at the very least this was an exercise in poor judgment, or at least a joke in poor taste, given the sightings and sort of a little bit of fear and unrest in this community in Arkansas?
Sure. I mean, yes, because it was in the Carolinas. They also had the clown incident where they were drawing kids into the woods, etc. But fine, I'll give him that. But I think that nowadays, especially with social media, and people always are harping on me about social media because social media ruins lives daily. I think that everything's an issue now. You know, like let's say like, okay, I'm on TV show in my underwear. That's an issue for people. I post a picture of me working out at the gym. Someone's gonna find an issue with that. And for them to without pay is just, it's asinine.
Yes, because he's being suspended without pay.
You're right, would be suspended without pay for dressing up he probably was just as a clown at his family gathering for his niece who loves clowns.
So what sort of responsibility do you guys think police officers have to just being sensitive to the concerns of a community in regards to sort of jokes or social media posting? Do you think that we shouldn't, what they do in their personal lives is their personal lives, let's not even bring it into the equation? Or do you think that we should hold them to a higher standard?
So that's part of why I'm so puzzled by this story, because there's so many more egregious things that cops do. This is where we drew the line.
Absolutely.
Right?
Word.
So, in terms of social media, yes, there should be some accountability. I remember the story we did of a cop who put horribly racist stuff on another woman's Facebook account, not even in his own state, many states from him. Somehow he found this woman because she was supporting Black Lives Matter, and he even threatened her kids. And that's a cop. So no. That kind of interaction in social media should have disciplinary consequences.
Yes.
That's serious. That's real. This guy, now Grace, I'll grant you this. I'm pretty sure that he did it as a gag because of the recent sightings of the clowns, and he knew about it because he's a cop.
There's no way he was just a clown aficionado in his spare time.
I wouldn't put it. Oh wow! I wouldn't put it past. That could very well be the case.
It could be, but it's not as likely.
right,
There's not a
okay,
lot of
fine.
clown aficionados left in the country, right? But I gotta let him go. It's a gag. What is he? 28 years old or
28,
something?
yeah.
28. So it's a guy who's
All
like
right.
he thought it would be funny, and he didn't even do it outside. That's the last thing. Okay, yeah, it's on social media, but he took a picture inside his family's house of him dressed as a clown. The only people he could have possibly scared is his own family, who was probably already afraid of him.
So, follow-up question for both of you. You are the chief of police in Whitehall, Arkansas. This situation comes to your attention. How do you, if at all, discipline him? Do you even bring it up, or you're saying that they shouldn't have even brought it up? It's not on the table.
It depends on the level of concern from the community that's coming in, because again, you always want to save face. So if the response from the community is overwhelming, people are scared, they're writing in, they're on the news, they're calling, they're egging your car, then But if it's not that big a deal, say, hey, homie. Okay.
A stern talking
Yeah,
to.
stern talking to, then keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah, can I say that on the terms? Keep it moving.
And also
Yeah.
probably delete the photo.
Right.
Okay. I liked how you, I don't know if you intended it or not, but used Homie the Clown reference. Hey, homie. Okay.
What do you know about Homie the Clown?
Yeah, no, I like Jason's answer a lot. I was just gonna scream, let him go. But yeah, Jason's right. If the community's up in arms over it, like, oh my God, this clown is terrorizing us, then be like, hey, knucklehead, don't do that again. Take the photo down, and I'll give you some sort of slap on the wrist with pay. Take a couple of days off so they stop egging my car. But if the community's not up in arms, okay, fine. Yeah, come into the office. Hey. I was going to get very dirty there, right? Hey, we'll go with homie. Okay, homie. Don't be an idiot. People are getting scared of the clowns. I don't want to have to punish you next time. Clean up, go home. You're going to be fine. No punishment. No.
Okay.
Let him go.
Interesting.
What about you?
Yeah, I
you
was
seem
like,
to
what
want to
do you
like
think?
lay the hammer down on this clown.
I was hoping we just move on. Okay, here's what I would think. You know what? I probably would have been in that camp had there not been the first clown murder recently. Now it's a scary situation, and this stuff is catching on. I do think that you suspend him with pay just to send a message saying that this sort of behavior in our police department is not okay, and that we expect our officers to compose themselves differently, and yeah, just a certain level of accountability, just to let them know that they take these issues seriously and that the concerns of the community and of the U.S. in general, because I know this is sort of a weird story, but it is scary and it is weird and potentially dangerous that these clowns are trying to lure kids into the woods. I would probably suspend him with pay, not for a very long time, but just to send a message.
Right.
You want to send a message?
And I'm an ice cold bitch, and that's why I would do that.
Okay,
That's
I
totally
hear
why
you,
I would do
sister.
that.
I hear you.
And your question earlier was, do we hold these people to a higher standard on social media? I think that we all need to have a higher standard of what we post on social media. And the age-old rule is, if you feel a certain way about it in your gut, don't post it.
If you get Young Turks membership,
You have a camera up your nose.
that's not really true, but we do, because everything gets recorded, our behind the scenes, our post games, all sorts of news shows, all at tytnetwork.com/join. We'll see you there.